Well, a Kentucky drag performer and activist is featured in this month's Rolling Stone magazine for Pride Month and is opening up about a number of issues facing the country and important issues that are happening right here in Kentucky. Dustin Rayburn, a.k.a. Dusty Ray Bottoms, joins us in studio to talk about this wild ride you've been on. Thanks for joining us here at Great Day Live.
Thanks for having me. This is so awesome.
And happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month to you.
So you've been kind of busy.
Yeah, we've been all over the place.
Let's unpack kind of Rolling Stone magazine. We have some incredible pictures to show everybody because that's a big deal. But the last time that drag performers featured in Rolling Stone was what, RuPaul?
RuPaul back in the 90s.
Oh my gosh.
There hasn't been another drag queen. And now we have me, Mistress Isabel, Aura, a bunch of other queens, Carrie Colby. It's just so awesome.
And I mean, the look is incredible. You had a say in kind of what you would wear for the photo shoot, right?
They told us what the article would be about the drag ban sweeping across America. So I stayed up all night the night before cutting out and sewing up a new look. I wanted to look like I was
so much stress just thinking about that.
Like, I literally felt like I was in the workroom again on Drag Race, trying to a new challenge, trying to come up with a new look for a runway.
Oh my goodness. And then, I mean, when did it finally sink in? I mean, to be featured in Rolling Stone with this headline, with this article, to you that had to be a big full circle moment. And when did it hit you?
I would probably say when the article actually came out. You know, you have Rolling Stone at your house, shooting you at your house in the backyard, interviewing you about these drag bands and your history, and they all left, and I was like, wow, that happened.
Yeah.
But then when the issue came out and I had it in my hands and I could read it and see it, it was like, I cannot believe this is a thing. And it was just a big full circle moment for me because, you know, growing up here in Kentuckiana as a young queer kid, there isn't a lot of representation. And it's so great that I could just like see this coffee and see myself, actually me. And now a young Dustin can look at this issue and see this and read this and find hope and see themselves in this, I hope.
Absolutely. And you've had this journey, I think, that a lot of people look at and go, wow, I want to do that too. Not easy, but you were on RuPaul's Drag Race. Yeah. You know, you've lived in New York, and then, you know, then you wanted to come back home. Your husband's here in the studio. I mean, how did that happen? That, you know, from, you know what, we need to be back home. We want to be back home.
You know, it was all a wild thing. Born and raised here. I went to Floyd Central High School. I was very involved in the theater arts. If it wasn't for the theater program, I probably wouldn't have graduated high school. I performed with Derby Dinner Playhouse, Music Theater of Louisville, Stage 1. I was always involved in the theater arts here. If there was a show going on and I lived here, I was probably in it. So I saw New York as my way of being able to live my true, authentic, queer life. I didn't feel like I could do that at the time with my current circumstances. So when I got to New York and I found my tribe and my family, my chosen family and drag, that's when I found my husband. And the pandemic happened. We got married because the pandemic frightened us a little bit as queer people. We weren't married yet, and we were afraid that if something happened to us, would my husband be able to have any says on anything? So we got married, and then the universe literally brought us back here. We've been able to build a relationship with my family, which is really great. There's a lot of love, and it's been great to be back and be a part of this community.
You're also one of the featured voices. You tell your story in the documentary Conversion, directed by another Louisville native,
Zach Miners.
Zach Miners. Did that come easy for you to say, yes, I want to be a part of it? Or once you were in the middle of the interview, you thought, no, this is important for me to be here?
You know, it wasn't an easy thing for me to want to be a part of at first. When I was on Drag Race, I shared my story about going through conversion therapy. And it wasn't until I shared that story on national television that I had a full circle Me Too moment when people were reaching out to me saying, I too went through conversion therapy, or my brother, or so-and-so. That's when I knew I wasn't alone in this issue, and I knew that I had to raise my voice and share my story more. You know, when you grow up in the church, you're always afraid to speak out against anything that may have happened to you in the church. I still love my relationship with God and everything, but I want to tell people about this thing that happened, and I want to make people aware about it. And so Zach asked me if I would be a part of this. I was hesitant and scared, but something in my gut said, no, step forward, speak up. And Zach made me feel so comfortable in meeting a fellow survivor of conversion therapy that I just opened right up, and I'm so glad that we were able to make this documentary together.
The documentary's out now, and it's been screened at a number of well-known, well-respected film festivals, and I mean, just looking at some of the promotional flyers for it, it's really did get noticed. I mean,
it's
big
very
time.
touching.
Yeah.
We just won the Trailblazers Award at the Portland Film Festival. We just won a couple more awards. I have them on the tip of my brain. I can't tell you. I'm sorry.
It's a lot.
I know, but it's very exciting. We're having a release later this year. We're very excited for it.
And I feel like, too, you get the opportunity, and I want to make people know where they can connect with you, because you make an effort to connect with people. If you are performing at Lemieux,
Absolutely.
you find that your opportunity, because you said, there's just like a ton of suburban moms in there, right?
Ton of suburban moms.
A lot of SUVs in that parking lot.
Absolutely,
I bet.
and we love it. And I always.
Why is that an opportunity for you to maybe reach somebody that doesn't understand your story or where you come
Absolutely. Well, you know, I was mainly a performer in New York City, and performing in New York City, I got to perform in the West Village for queer people at night all the time. Here in Kentucky, I'm performing for a lot of straight people and allies, hardly any queer people for brunch. So I'm not changing any queer people's minds. Like, I'm queer. They know exactly where I've been, but a lot of straight people don't know. So it's so nice to be able to share a room full of allies and straight people and change some minds. I always tell them, look around here. There are a lot more of you all than there are of me. When you leave this room, your voices are mighty, and we need you today more than ever. So please stand up for us. Please raise your voices. Please stick up for us. You're so needed. You're so appreciated and loved today.
Well, where can people follow you, and besides Lemieux, but where else can they connect with you and just all your journeys? And
you can follow me on social media. Look up Dusty Ray Bottoms, Dusty Ray on Instagram. Say hello. Send me a message. Give me a follow. I'd love to see you at Lemieux sometime as well.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by Great Day Live and connecting with our audience and sharing your story. And thanks to Mark as well.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.